Welcome back. Donald Trump's announced a controversial budget plan that aims to both reduce the deficit while boosting funds for Washington to counter familiar foes.
So we're putting out a plan today that over a period of not that long a period of time brings our budget and our deficit down to what it should be, which is close to zero. And I think people are going to be very impressed by it.
Here's what it looks like then. There's a $750 billion increase for national defense. That includes modernizing nuclear weapons. On top of that, there's also a sizable amount for countering so-called threats from Russia and China. Included in that, so-called Russian propaganda, which has got a whole separate line to itself in that budget plan. However, there are some key sectors, such as health, environment and science, that are potentially facing some significant cuts next year. American welfare programs will lose almost $300 billion in funding, according to Trump's plan. That extends to Medicare, Medicaid, and also Social Security. The forecast right now suggests that there is a real chance that that budget will be approved. We sounded out anti-war activist Brian Becker, who isn't convinced by Trump's changes.
There's nothing more absurd than taking more money away from health, education, that which people need in the United States, and using it to gin up for a confrontation with Russia. Trump administration is moving far away from even the semblance of diplomacy. They're cutting the State Department, they're cutting the USAID budget, but they're also cutting the National Institutes for Health, the Environmental Protection Agency. They're cutting the Centers for Disease Control. At the same time, the media and the government is beating the war drums against China over the coronavirus. The U.S. is actually slashing its budget. That's what the Trump budget proposes. Big, savage cuts to the healthcare infrastructure in America, including to the Centers for Disease Control and the National Institute of Health. I mean, this seems, again, crazy because it is crazy.